Arundhati, and today we have with us Neeraj Kabi. He's playing a pivotal role in the Taj Mahal, 1989. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well.
You know, I watched the trailer and it seems it's a amalgamation of 4 love stories.
Yes,
it looks like,
yeah.
and your is also very interesting, a married couple and their ups and downs. And so tell us a little more about the character that you are portraying in the film.
I'm playing the character of Akhtar Beg, and Gitanjali Kulkarni plays Sarita Beg. I'm a philosophy professor, and I have a love for poetry and literature. I have a married life, but I live my own life in terms of I'm surrounded with books, I'm surrounded with the world of literature and poems. And my wife, on the other hand, lives a regular life. She's a teacher herself, she's a professor herself. Both of us teach at the Lucknow University. But she has a regular life, we have a child. But she's lacking that relationship which she would want from a man.
Okay.
And the sense of romance is not there. And because this man doesn't think about love and romance the way she would, she comes to a point where she threatens him to say that if you don't give me that, I'd probably divorce you.
Okay.
So that's where everything becomes a nightmare for this man, and he suddenly comes alive to the fact that he has to give something back in terms of a relationship to his wife. And that's what the entire story of his segment is about.
Right. It's so interesting for me to know, considering the fact that we tend to think that, you know, poets and people of who study literature are very romantic by nature, and here you are saying that is that the conflict that you are kind of, you as an artist got a chance to, you know, explore from the character that you portrayed?
Yes. Before this, I played a love story. I performed in a love story called Once Again.
Yeah.
This was a feature film for Netflix, starring Shefali Shah and myself.
Yes, I actually watched
So that was about longingness, that was about lacking love, that was about lacking anybody in your life. And now you find a relationship with somebody else. This was not like that. This was unlike that, because this was having the person in my life and yet not being able to express my love for her, because I never felt that love should be expressed.
Okay.
That's what Akhtar Beg's character is. So there were moments in the series where you will see them spending some time in a khandar, and they both go there, they visit it, they say that, okay, this was where certain poet or a certain writer, you know, was born in this space. They spend time over there. And they spend time waiting at the sunset, they spend time just sitting with each other, just being there. And that's why it talks about Taj Mahal 1989, because 1989 was the advent of, post that was the advent of technology, and television,
and internet
and everything. Before that, it didn't exist.
This is so interesting that, you know, there are two films that we are talking about. The other one was we are talking about the one with Shefali Shah, that one, and this film. In both the films, you are playing lover somewhere, you know, a middle-aged man who is either, like, you know, need to nurture the love relation or longing for love. Do you think these days the love story of middle-aged men, women are written more, you know, in a more meaty manner, the way it is happening in today's time, as opposed to earlier the way it used to happen? Because middle-aged people's love story, how do you look at that opportunity, sir?
Yeah. It's very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. And you're very right in the way you're expressing it, that today the roles that are written for middle-aged love stories have far more content and are looked at very deeply. You know, if you talk of yesteryears, then there's Ijazat, when you talk of middle-aged love stories. And before that, it was Andhi.
Yeah.
So these stories also have to be told. Love does not mean that you only speak about youngsters falling in love. There's so much that you have at every age and every stage of your life. It's not about saying that, oh, it'll be so boring, what else? No, it's not. No, it's not. You need to tell these stories. I wish there were more middle-aged love stories being written. There were more love stories where even people of the age of 55 and 60 are actually doing lead roles and performing these love stories. Romance can have no age bar. It's got nothing to do with how old are you, how young are you, from where you come. It's a feeling that comes.
Do you think that is not happening, or what not happening for so long is also because we have that youth fixation?
I don't think so. It's because of the youth fixation. I think people are not writing these stories, that's it. They should write more stories. And I'm saying this because, not because I'm imagining something that is going to be very positive in the industry, but I have myself done a film called Once Again with Shefali Shah, which I told you. And that film was received so beautifully, so amazingly beautifully. That's the time I felt that we should have more stories like this. People are there. There's a huge audience wanting and waiting to see such love stories. I was very surprised when this film just did so well. And it was on Netflix and it ran for a very, very long time. It was also, yeah, it was received extremely well, extremely well.
What do you think, as a senior actor, what are the struggle that after a certain point of time, after a certain age, that men tend to get, like the stereotype that you, for instance, as an actor, tend to get, and that you, of course, you want to break out of that?
I've taken calls on the kind of work that I want to do that should not stereotype me as something. So I've played a variety of roles, a variety of characters, simply because I didn't want to be stereotyped. And that variety, when you create, you need to create with a lot of good quality and excellence. It's not just about you looking different in every film. It's a question of you being different in every film. But I feel the industry, personally, I feel that more stories should be written for people or for actors who've crossed the age of 45, 50. And there are so many things to talk about, so many emotions to talk about. And even if you talk about romance, there is so much in those ages. Why aren't we exploring those? We should.
Well, it's really lovely talking to you, sir, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. This is Arundhati, signing off.